I grew up in a family with a father whose main quality in life, I think, was a kind of grace. And fairly early on, I think, through just hanging around him, I realized that there were powers at work in the world that sort of originated in the human heart. And then I was very fortunate to get a very good education, a very solid education, where many of my teachers were people in whom faith and reason cohabited with great ease, that there was in fact no collision between what's visible and what's invisible. One of our biggest problems in Western culture is that we see everything in terms of either or rather than both and. And I'm not saying that everything is both and. There are some things that just don't go together. There are some things that are in fact contradictions, and you have to choose one or the other. Niels Bohr, the Nobel Prize winning physicist, once said, "The opposite of a fact is a lie, but the opposite of one great truth may be another great truth." That appeals to me because as a Christian, I have no idea how you could read the Bible without an appreciation of paradox. I mean, Jesus is always saying paradoxical stuff that makes no sense if you try to cram it into this Western mentality of either this or that. Early in my spiritual journey, I thought of spirituality as sort of up and away, kind of rising above the fray, getting up to an altitude where the air would be clean and you could move with ease. One of the biggest things I've learned in the course of my 70 years is that the direction of the spiritual journey is not upward but downward. It's down to what Paul Tillich called the ground of being. So part of my spiritual journey has, for example, been 3 extended wrestling matches with clinical depression, which is not only down, but underground. Clinical depression isn't like being lost in the dark, it's more like becoming the dark. My experiences with depression have been one of the most profound schools of the spirit that I've ever been to. The truth about each of us is that we are very complicated mixtures of shadow and light, of gold and dirt. It says in Scripture, we're a little lower than the angels and a little higher than the beasts. And that's not an either or, that's a both and. I learn a lot more from my failures than I do from my successes.